So some of you may be wondering, what have I been doing since the last video? Well, we've been working on a lot of little things. We've upgraded the turn signals up front. We ended up fixing something there. We've got the interior back together. We've started putting the radio and new speakers in. That's going to be for another video. Today we're focused on finishing up the bodywork. As of right now, it is April the 5th, and we've got less than a month to get this thing finished up and ready for a 3,000-mile road trip. We're heading to Atlanta and back, and we're taking Dale Jr. So we've got to finish up the spot welding on all of these panels and get them ground down, get them body filled, primed, painted, and ready for this. I've alluded to doing something special with this sunset gold color on my 90 Suburban. And I've given you a few hints. I've ordered the vinyl. I will be attempting to do it myself, and that'll be a whole other episode. But I can't wait. It's going to involve taking off all of these moldings, getting rid of all the gum and double-sided tape behind it, and making sure that this surface is absolutely clean and smooth, because any imperfections will show through on the vinyl. So I think what we're going to end up doing there is likely going to give it a little scuff with a Scotch-Brite, clean it, wipe it down, make sure that it's perfectly clean. Got a couple of dents on the other side that we're going to look after as well. But for this video, let's start tackling getting the welds ground down here. We're going to add a few more to it because that thing is just tacked on there. Let's get to work. So as you saw in the time lapse, we got all the primer ground off so that we could actually weld to it. We got spot welding the whole way across, and we were able to grind down so that this is, for the most part, level all the way across. We are lucky that this whole portion of the fender curves down like that. The only thing is we've only got about 2 to 3 inches to work with because that molding comes up so far. And when we put our wrap on, we want to make sure that that bodywork that we're doing is super smooth. But I think that's good enough to get that filled in. We're going to go over the other side and get that done. We've got one last booger weld to grind off here and get that ready for some mud as well. Then we can actually put on our body man hat and start working at getting this thing prepped for paint. Now's a good time. If you guys have not, please like this video. Make sure you're subscribed to Olde Carr Guy. There's a lot that we've got to do to this Suburban before we make that 3,000-mile road trip, and especially the wrap that we're doing. You're not going to want to miss that. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you get the bell notifications on. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a cent, but it helps the channel. So make sure you're subscribed. If you want to help support the channel with some Olde Carr Guy merch, we've got lots of t-shirts, including this Gates or Doors t-shirt for all you Suburban guys out there. We've got one that says 2 headlights or 4. Olde Carr Guy, follow me, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, beer koozies, stickers, you name it. It's on the website, shop.oldecarguy.com. One more way you can help support my channel in more ways than just watching the videos. Now, let's get back to this thing. All right, we had some lunch and we have progressed into getting some body fill, at least the first coat on here. We mucked in where we did the patch on the rocker panel, the bottom of the fender, and this rear quarter over here, as well as on this side and around where we welded in the patch on the rocker on this side. One of the things that I've really got to be careful of is going above that molding line, and I'll tell you why. 2 reasons. 1, if we don't make the wrap happen before C10's in the city, we need to keep this color intact, which means we can't be sanding and grinding and mudding up above where that molding goes. This is the top line of the molding, kind of as you see here. But if we do get to do the wrap before C10's in the city, then I shouldn't have to be too concerned. But because of time, because I've never done a wrap, because I don't know what I'm doing, clearly I'm going to have to kind of just be cautious of how we are putting on our mud and how far up the fender we're going, just in case. So as always, I am just winging this as I go. Haven't done a whole lot of body work in the past. Usually Dad does a lot of the body work. He's kind of got, you know, all that stuff down pat. He knows how much body fill to use, how much hardener, what sandpapers to use, and which order. He can lay down paint. Clearly, he can lay down paint. He painted this last year, and before that, it was his 36 Dodge that I'll flash a picture up here on the screen. And soon, I'm going to get him to paint from the molding down all the way around the Suburban because, well, he's got more experience, and I actually want it to look like something. I just did a whole big monologue and didn't even record it. What I said was, this portion of the bodywork does not have to be 100% spot on. It's not at eye level. It's down low. Not everyone's. It's not going to be just beating you right in the beak with a flaw. However, I have confidence that my lackluster ability in mudding and sanding, but Dad's ability to kind of fine tune it and get it sprayed, it'll look good, at least for this trip. And if we don't get to the wrap, we don't get to the wrap, but if we do, then this is going to look amazing. And this black molding down the side will be gone, which means we've got molding on the bumpers. We may have to get rid of those, depending on how many holes in the bumpers, may depend on whether or not we swap out the bumpers. But let's get to standing this first coat and see what it looks and feels like. So you guys can be rest assured that I truly don't know what I'm doing. When I laid this down, I laid it on pretty thick because there was quite a gap to fill. And you can see where that gap was. But in here and way over here, we had it on pretty thick. And as it was setting up, I probably could have gone in with the rasp and kind of graded off the worst of it before it was too hard to do that. But clearly I did not. We've got a low spot right in here, which we'll have to fill again. From what I've got here, it feels good. This is a low spot because that little divot is in there. You can see it all along here. It's some tough going with 40 grit. But we're going to carry on, get this sanded down, and see what we've got to do for the second coat. And we know, like I said, we're going to have a little bit of a low spot right there. And everything else seems to be filling in pretty good. We got to get that crater filled in there. Anyways, I'm going to keep going. You guys can follow along. I'll be right back with you. Well, this is the part that I hate about bodywork because I just don't know much about it. I am dusty. Holy cow. We got it all done with the air sander, but we still got to get in here, get the fine stuff. There's some pinholes here, got a little bit of a high spot there. Most of this is okay. This is still high. And I just don't know enough about it to mess too much more with it. So I think what I'll do, I'll give the old man a call, see if he can come up and give me a hand. At least give me some tips, pointers on how to get that to level out. Maybe you won't see it. Like I said, we get the wrap on here. That's going to come down to about here anyway. So we can cover that up. Also, when it's painted, it's going to be this color. It's going to be light, so you shouldn't see too much boogery when it's done. So I don't know. I'm not picky when it comes to paint, as you can tell. Over here, it's not much different. It's actually fairly flat that way. Like there's no, it doesn't seem to be. I mean, the high spots where they are is it's high right here. There's a little bit of a high spot right there, a little bit right there. But again, the bumper comes in and covers this. I'm not sure you're going to see much of that. I ain't too picky. Over here, I think we got that okay. The patch panel, when I welded it in, is out this way more than the actual fender. So when you rub your hands down, you can kind of feel it go out a little bit. A little bit of an exaggeration, but again, when we get the wrap on it, there's going to be a molding or something there to cut to distinguish the two colors. So I don't know how picky I've got to be with it. I do know, as a rule of thumb, somebody once told me, if you can feel the imperfection with your hand, you're going to see it with your eye. How true is that? I don't know. But again, I ain't too picky. So that's going to be enough for today. It's almost 4 o'clock. I've been at this since 10. So what I'll do is, let me show you something else I found. So right in here, this little piece here, we can kind of just almost reverse that. I just slightly noticed a little bit of staining. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up or not. You can see that right there, a little bit of staining. So I touched it, and it crunched a little bit. And so I touched it a little bit harder. Before you know it, my finger went through there. And, you know, there's also a hole where you can see directly through the other side. So we've got a piece that we can fix in there. We've also got this piece here that we're going to fix, and I'm going to use this as a template because that's what I cut out. I think that goes like so. So I'll cut a piece out, get that welded in there. It gives us more body work to do, you know. I thought I had one of these patches, which I do, but it's for the other side. I had two of them. I had one that I got from AMD. I also had one that was left over from a patch panel that I did on Old Dale the truck. So, I think if I knew for a fact that I was going to be able to get this wrap done before C10's in the city, I would go over and I would get some of these small dents, door dents, or parking lot dents that are in there. And I would just sand them down, put a little skim of filler on it, knowing that this was going to get covered up anyway. But again, I ain't too picky. So we'll get this fixed. One more spot to body fill. I've sprayed it with some rust inhibitor inside, outside, as well as back in there. So when we can get that panel put in, everything on the inside should be encapsulated and shouldn't rust any further or too much further. Keep in mind, this is a vehicle that does not get driven in the wintertime. It's only a summertime vehicle. So the worst weather it's going to see is rain. So, yeah, anyways, we're good with this for now. I'll be back tomorrow, just a few minutes for you guys, and we'll see if we can't button this up to the point of maybe getting some primer on that, and then it's ready to be kind of like blocked and painted. We've also got this patch panel to put in. All these moldings need to come off, and that's a bugger of a job getting that 35-year-old adhesive off there. I had a heck of a time. Scraper, and then the residue was behind, and then you got to rub, and it's a big mess. Anyways, all these moldings will come off. We'll get this bottom color scuffed with probably like a 200 or 300. We want it. We want it scuffed. A Scotch-Brite ain't gonna do it. Back here we got rock chips. So we want to kind of level that out. I might put a skim of filler over that when I actually get this patch done here. Other than that, I got a sand underneath the door. The hoist arms are in the way, so we'll have to get this thing off the floor, roll it back, and lay on our back to get that one done. Other than that, guys, we're moving forward. So, all right, on to the next thing. So this is how far we've made it so far. We're getting ready to do the final taping off of the body color. And one of the problems that we ran into was, you know, getting the body work that we did into the gold. We didn't want to touch the gold. But back here, because of my sloppy welding job here and here, same thing on the other side, we came up a little too far. So when we make our line to go from here, this body line down here to separate the two colors, well, we're into it here. So the option was, do we paint above that with the white or the beige and then come back and deal with it afterwards? Or do we paint up to this line and cover the gold entirely? And the wrap will cover it up regardless. The problem is, we don't know when the wrap is to show up. I haven't got any tracking information, and it's already April the 11th. C10s in the city, we leave on the 30th. So we've got very, very little time once the wrap comes in to actually get it on there. If it doesn't, I don't want to be driving this thing with primer sticking up the side of it. So what we decided is we are going to tape at the tape line that needs to be. We will leave the primer sticking up where we need it to, and we'll let that paint cure for roughly, you know, a week. If the wrap does show up, we're golden. If it doesn't, then we come back, we tape off the beige, we repaint the gold, and then we'll be ready for C10s in the city. And another area that we run into is we did decide that we wanted to fill a couple of dents that we had in the doors, but that put us up into the gold again. So at some point we've either got to touch that up with spray bomb, repaint the whole thing, or, you know, carry on status quo. One of the things that we are changing though is before this gold color came all the way down the fender, but now we're going to tape that off with our body line, and we're going to paint this front little cowl that goes across here between the grille and the bumper. You don't see much of it, but it will match this color now instead of it being gold. Because I haven't revealed yet what the actual wrap is going to be, that'll be a whole separate video and a reveal when it's done. So let's get this thing taped off so that we can wrap it up, get it sprayed, hopefully by the end of the day. Like I said, right now it's 10 o'clock, so let's get to her. So we're all taped up, ready for some spraying. We're getting ready to wipe this down, and we'll have some color on her, at least the first part. We'll get the tack cloth and just kind of wipe all that stuff down. But yeah, we are ready to rock and roll. Then we get the first coat going, and a lot of the bodywork actually doesn't look too bad. That first color went on pretty good. Little something coming through right there. But yeah, no, it doesn't look too bad at all. Actually kind of excited to get this front piece color change done here. That's turned out really good. But let's get the let this set up, and we'll do some more coats. And surprisingly, not a lot of overspray. Spraying that at what, 14? Yeah, so. Right, getting ready for round 2. So it's the next day. We let this thing set up all night, and we wanted to make sure everything was good and set up before we took the plastic off. So let's go take a look, and then we'll get this plastic unwrapped and get a really good look at what this thing has to offer. So at first glance, everything looks good. You really got to get up close and personal to this to see any of the flaws. So for instance, right here, yep, I don't know if you can see that on camera. We got a rock chip or something here. I mean, that's covered by the wheel well molding. Granted, there's a little bit of fisheye or whatever you want to call that there. Small little piece of dirt there. This front cowl came out really good. I did scrape down some rust and filled a little bit of that, but man, that is so smooth. Over here, this all laid out really, really well. The body work down here along the bottom of the rocker, a small little mark right there. This piece here that I did on the lower fender, that turned out really good. We come back here, and even this piece here, that blended really well. Of course, all the body work is done, you know, in where the tape line is, mostly. Some of it came up into here. We'll see that when we take the plastic off. Come around back here, we got a little flat here, and there's a little bit of body work there. That will actually be covered by the separation sticker on the wrap. Over here, this all laid out really good. Little bit of fisheye. Obviously it wasn't clean, but I mean, this piece here, as structural as it is, and as important as it is, you really don't see it. This backside gets covered with a piece of plastic, and when the tailgate's open, it's up about this high. You really don't see much of that. Come over here, everything looks pretty good. Over here, still looking not too bad. When this was drawing, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up or not. We had a little bit of run that kind of starts right here, goes down. So we may have to smooth that out. A little bit of drippage coming off the bottom of the door. We'll razor blade that off. Same thing up here. Got a little heavy on the bottom, which is good because this is where all your rocks come up and, you know, beat all that to pieces. A little bit of a sag up in here, and there was no body work done here at all. A little bit of a sag there. And another one kind of right in there. But this front piece, I'm really impressed with that. I can't wait to see it once we get all this plastic off. So let's get the camera set up, and we'll get all of this plastic taken off here. So with all the tape off, the lines look crisp. There wasn't a whole lot of bleeding over. And as you can see, we've got primer that comes up over top of that line, which under normal circumstances would be no big deal. If I was putting that big, thick black molding back onto it, well, that doesn't quite cover it. Even if you went to the bottom, it almost covers it there. However, back here, because the bodywork went too high, we're well up we're well up into the fender. Again, this is no big deal. I did get confirmation as we were taping this thing up via email that the wrap has shipped. So it's showing that the tracking number was created on Friday. Probably won't go out till Monday. I might see it Tuesday or Wednesday, which will be a good weekend project for next weekend. That was the big hang up with this thing, is not knowing whether that wrap was going to make it in time for the show or not, because we needed to figure out what we were going to do with this to cover up the primer. But knowing that the wrap is on its way, well, this is no longer an issue. Are we going to cover up that primer? I might tape this off and spray it anyways, just to cover up and seal in that primer so that it's not kind of getting any exposure to anything, but the wrap's going to cover it up anyway. So I'm excited to see what this thing's going to look like with the wrap. And I'm excited to share with you guys what that wrap is. I have been alluding to a wrap for quite a while now, and I've never told you what it is. You'll have to wait till the next video to see that. If you go back through my Instagram from a long time ago, you might have seen some hints on some of the ideas I was looking at, but maybe you didn't see those. Next video, we'll have the wheels and tires on it, and we'll be doing the wrap, the ultimate transformation on this 1990 Suburban. And the reason why I say ultimate transformation is because there are very few of these that had wraps, and especially in the design that I'm going with. So you guys will be, hopefully you'll be pleasantly surprised. You won't be too upset when you see what it is. Don't forget to hit up shop.oldecarguy.com, where we're going to have a brand new t-shirt here on Dale Jr. I've approved some of the design. We've made a few changes. I think you're going to like it. I'm anxious. I can't wait to get it on the website to see how well it sells and see if you guys like it as well. So make sure you're hitting up shop.oldecarguy.com for all your merchandise, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, beer koozies, you name it. It's all over there. Stickers as well. If you haven't yet liked this video, make sure you're subscribed. Stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. I love you guys. God bless. We'll see you in the next video.